Good evening, everyone. It is May the 19th, 2025. I hope everyone enjoyed their Victoria Day weekend. Today I'm going to talk about my title there, which is Confronting the Situation, which is I'm going to start by giving a little bit of background information before I actually get in to what happened to me, which in my last video I said something that personally happened to me. So I'm going to describe the incident after, but there's a bit of a lead up and background information towards what led up to this. So in walking in the area, especially now that spring is here, and that's the nice thing about the community all starts coming out of their houses, certainly after the long winter, and we all enjoy walking, and we have the whole area here, and it's nice to see all the different things that's going on in the market area and that. So I ran into one of my friend. Now this friend, as you are aware, when Julie and I talked, we met in 2010 and at the shelter. But we also went to one of the drop-in centers, which is for women. And there I met a worker at the shelter who helped me when I was going through trying to get a place to live, and was upside down after I separated from my second husband. And she helped me because of abuse, that I was able to go and get some victim compensation through the province. So she was there. She helped me fill out the paperwork, and she went with me when I did my victim impact statement for my victim's compensation at the time, which was a really, really wonderful thing. And it was so wonderful because this is, as I said, back then, the workers were there. They were really helping us back in those days when we were all mixed up in that, and we really needed the help. So I really praise that. So this worker, ex-worker now, also lives in the area. So I was just describing what had happened to me with the homeless, and she started telling me what was happening with the homeless, that she has found homeless on her doorstep, and and find that they're a little more frightening than what they used to be. And I said, well, what do you mean? And well, she said, well, I used to be able to just offer them some food or a blanket or something, and they'd be happy with that. And now, even because I was talking about how this person approached me and was demanding money, they're now in the situation where they're actually asking for money, these homeless people. So she is very, very frightened now, because she's seeing the difference where it's just things that you would normally hand a person, if it's a pair of gloves even, for their hands, if it's winter and the cold, they don't seem to be happy in that situation anymore. So I was telling her about what happened to me at the ATM machine. And again, this is going back, again, history-wise, at this ATM machine. That during the pandemic, I mentioned this in one of my other YouTube videos much earlier, about how during the pandemic, when all the lockdowns were, and to get food or to go to the grocery store, the only way you could get your money was to go to the ATM machine and get it. And I did mention about this man in front of me, while I was waiting in line, was at the machine, and this homeless person came up and asked him for $5. And he turned around, and being somewhat intimidated, after he took the money out of the machine, he handed the guy $20. So this to me is a bit of an intimidation situation. So this particular day, and this was just recently, it was only 2 or 3 days before the big federal election that this happened to me, that I was going across down the sidewalk, and there was numerous people walking down the sidewalk, and this man was approaching everyone, homeless man, and he was asking everyone for $4. And of course I scooted by with him, and I had Heidi, my service dog, with me, my German Shepherd. Everyone's seen, or most people who know me have seen Heidi on my channel, and trying to stick her nose in when I'm doing a filming too. You see her come in from the side here sometimes, sticking her nose in. But so I made it to the ATM machine, and I was just punching in what you normally punch in on the keyboard to get your money. And I looked over, and I saw this man that was asking for $4, and I didn't there was something about his body language that was just off. I didn't feel comfortable at all. And Heidi, my service dog, of course, she's sitting very nice and politely beside me, waiting for me to finish at the machine like she normally does. So he's coming up, and I see him coming, and he's heading straight for me, and I'm thinking, oh, this guy must think I'm an easy target because I'm a senior. But why aren't you paying attention to the dog? So I gave him, he was about 6 feet away, which I made sure there was some distance between me, the dog, and him. And I just turned around, and I just came out with, back off, just like that. And of course, automatically, this is one of my signals to my dog that something's not right. So she just stood up there. She stood up from a sitting position and just looked at him. He stopped dead in his tracks, mind you. He looked at me, looked at the dog, and he wasn't the only one that stopped dead in his tracks because there was numerous people around me who were walking. Well, when I said back off, automatically everybody dropped dead in their tracks almost. They just dropped. Like, what's going on? And then they saw me confronting him. And, of course, everybody, a few people, I saw them going for their phone just in case there was a situation. And then he just looked, and then he looked, realized people were looking at him. He looked at me, looked at the dog, finally realized, oops, I've got an 80-pound German Shepherd sitting beside me. So he turned around and he started muttering, swearing at me at first, and then he walked across the street to ask more people for money. But at that time, I wasn't too worried because I was in a good situation. This was like around 10 o'clock in the morning. Broad daylight, there was people around me in the area. And so it was a good time to pull a surprise stunt on him. And people are getting very annoyed at these type of things that are starting to happen. I'm seeing more and more of. And as my grandfather used, well, actually, then I'm hearing another story too. Oh, but before I go into the other story, I just want to let you know that even though my dog is marked as a service dog, they're not vicious. They're certainly not police dogs at all. She just responded to me, and the service dog trainer that I have was very pleased with her because these dogs are trained not to show any aggression, which there was no aggression whatsoever from her. She just sat there, or stood there, and just looked at him. That's all she did. That was enough. Just and to show that when she stood up, then he realized her size. It kind of registered up here. So he didn't want to confront the situation. So she did what she was supposed to do to protect me without growling, without snarling or anything at him. She just stood up and looked. That's all she had to do in this particular case. So then I'm going to tell you another story about another young lady walking in my area. And we get talking, and because I walk in the area and people know me and they know Heidi, we get talking, and she was explaining something that happened to her as well, that she had another man come up to her, another homeless man come up to her and started wanting money. And she was trying to get away from him, and this man followed her for several blocks. And she said, well, the only way I'd shake him was to take the scenic route. And I guess he finally gave up after he couldn't catch up with me, and he just, I guess he just felt that he wasn't going to get anywhere at that point. So she has been frightened too. So this is some of the stuff that you really have to be aware of, and that's why I constantly say be aware of your surroundings. But well, I did what I did that day because my grandfather had a very, very, very good expression that sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you literally have to take the bull by the horns and put your foot down. Well, that's exactly what I did that day and caught everybody off guard. So after he left across the street, people were smiling at me. I got the thumbs up from some people as well. And I had one woman say, well, I was grabbing my phone. I was ready to use it if I had to. And people were going to go grab their phones, whether they had to call 911 or if it turned into a bad situation, or make sure that they had this on camera. So that is one way of being, I knew I was really well protected in that respect. And I did not let him get very close to me as well. So this is why I wanted to tell people today why we have to be aware of our surroundings and what is happening to us. So that's something I keep pumping into people, and I'm always reminding people of, because sometimes you can get yourself out of a situation before it even erupts into a major situation, which in that case I did. It could have been worse. I don't know if this guy had a knife. I don't know if he would have gone or tried to stab the dog or me. I have no idea. But I knew he was just floored. He did not expect it, because when I came out with that back off, it was in a very authoritative voice, and I looked him straight in the eye, as my grandfather would say. If you got to confront someone, look them straight in the eye, which I did, and it worked this time. So sometimes you have to pick and choose the situation you're in, and every situation is different, so I can't advise anyone else to what to do in that particular situation if they found themselves in. I just want to tell you the story of what I did in that situation and what my opinion of the situation was at that time. But being aware of my surroundings was something that was very, very important, so that I could do something about the situation. And other people were glad, because people are getting sick and tired of this and being asked for money. But it's the ones that are asking for money that you have to be more aware of. I find them more aggressive than the ones who are just sitting there panhandling with their little cup or whatever, or baseball cap or whatever, looking for money. They're the ones that don't seem to bother everybody. But like this guy wanted $4. He would have got 2 nice hits out of that, $2 each, just to keep him going in between going to his dealer. This is how they get through the month. If they haven't got a lot of money till the end of the month, they'll panhandle just to get at least a hit. So I'm going to leave it there, everyone. Think about your surroundings. Think about yourself. Think about situations you might find yourself in and how you might have to handle a situation. So everyone, take care. Have a great day. Be safe. Watch your surroundings for sure. And we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.